Every 4 years, about 26 players get to lift the World Cup. Some of them carried their team to glory. Some of them barely broke a sweat. And a few of them, and this is where it gets genuinely wild, won the most prestigious trophy in world football in circumstances so unbelievable you couldn't make them up. These are the luckiest players on 5 World Cup winning teams. All names you know, all stories you need to hear. Ronaldo, Brazil, 1994. Let's start with the most jaw-dropping one, because this isn't a story about some unknown squad filler sneaking a medal. This is the greatest striker who ever lived winning the World Cup and not touching the ball once. Ronaldo Nazario, R9, 3-time FIFA World Player of the Year, 2 Ballon d'Ors, the man Mourinho calls the greatest footballer he has ever seen. In 1994, he was 17 years old, playing for Cruzeiro, and scoring goals at a rate that made every European scout in the world sit up straight. Brazilian coach Carlos Alberto Pereira saw the numbers, saw the talent, and made a call that almost no international coach would make. He put a 17-year-old kid in the World Cup squad. Ronaldo went to the 1994 FIFA World Cup in the United States aged 17, but did not play as Brazil went on to win the tournament. He stated he was overjoyed at the experience. 0 minutes, not a single touch in a World Cup match. While Romario was tearing defenses apart and winning the Golden Ball as tournament MVP, while Bebeto was doing the baby rocking celebration that the whole world copied, Ronaldo was on the bench in his kit, watching. The teenager did not play a single minute as Brazil won the trophy for a 4th time, but said he was overjoyed to be there. He was known as Ronaldinho at the time, Little Ronaldo, because there was already a Ronaldo in the squad. They called him Ronaldinho, Little Ronaldo, the same kid who would go on to break the world transfer fee twice, who would be the leading scorer in World Cup history, who would score that brace in the 2002 final and be compared to Pelé. That kid sat on a bench in 1994 and collected a World Cup winner's medal without lacing up his boots. He didn't just get lucky once, he got lucky in the most consequential way possible. At 17, in the most watched sporting event on the planet for the greatest football nation ever assembled. Most players wait their whole career and never even make a World Cup squad. Ronaldo showed up as a teenager, watched from the dugout, and went home a world champion. Then he came back in 2002 and actually won it properly, with 2 goals in the final, 2 World Cup medals, 1 earned in sweat, 1 earned in patience, and nobody who watched 1994 even remembers he was there. Stéphane Guivarc'h, France, 1998. This one is different from all the others on this list, because Guivarc'h did actually play. He played 6 of France's 7 games at the 1998 World Cup on home soil, including the final against Brazil. He was the starting striker, the number 9, for the greatest French side in history. And across the entire tournament, he didn't score a single goal. Not one. 0 goals as France's number 9, across 6 appearances at a home World Cup. He missed chances in the final. He was a passenger in a team carried by Zidane, Henry, Petit, and the best defensive unit in the world. He lifted the trophy in Paris with a winner's medal round his neck, having contributed approximately nothing to the scoreline. He then signed for Newcastle United in the Premier League. He earned his way onto the squad after leading the top French league in scoring twice, a level of success he never managed to repeat again. After signing with Newcastle, he lasted just 4 games. 4 games at Newcastle. He was named the worst striker in Premier League history by a national newspaper. He retired in 2002 at the age of 31 due to a knee injury. And where is he now? Since retirement as a player, Guivarc'h has returned to his hometown of Concarneau and become a swimming pool salesman, in a small fishing town in Brittany. He goes to watch his daughters play basketball on Saturdays. Locals barely notice the man sitting next to them in the bar who once played in a World Cup final. And you know what? He seems completely at peace with it. World Cup winner, Premier League's worst striker, swimming pool salesman, quite the CV, Pepe Reina, Spain, 2010. Here's the one that genuinely baffles people when they find out. Because Pepe Reina wasn't some unknown backup. He wasn't a fringe player. He was Liverpool's first-choice goalkeeper, one of the best shot stoppers in the Premier League, and he set a number of goalkeeping records for Liverpool and won the Premier League Golden Glove Award in his first 3 seasons at the club. Buffon said he was the best goalkeeper of his era with his feet. Spain had the greatest team on the planet in 2010. They won the World Cup, playing 7 games in South Africa, and Pepe Reina, one of the finest goalkeepers in European football, did not play a single minute. In the World Cup 2010, Reina was, as before, second choice for his country behind Casillas, and did not see a single minute of competitive action in any of Spain's 7 matches as they won the tournament for the first time. He was as ever heavily involved in the victory celebrations. That last line is the key part. He was heavily involved in the victory celebrations. Footage of Reina at Spain's celebrations is everywhere. Singing, dancing, performing for the crowd, the life of the party. The man was the squad comedian, the dressing room catalyst, the energy behind the scenes. His teammates loved him. His contributions to morale were apparently significant, but not a single minute on the pitch. 7 matches. Spain win their first ever World Cup. Reina collects his gold medal, having watched every game from the bench behind one of the best goalkeepers in the world. This is the cruelest version of luck, being genuinely world class at your position, and having the misfortune of your national team also containing the one goalkeeper in the world who was better. Christoph Kramer, Germany 2014. This is the most unbelievable story in World Cup final history, and it starts the night before the game, in the warm-up, when Germany midfielder Sami Khedira pulled his calf and was ruled out, meaning Christoph Kramer, a 23-year-old who had barely played in the tournament, would start the 2014 World Cup final. Christoph Kramer's first ever competitive start for the German national team was cut short during Sunday's 2014 World Cup final against Argentina, as the young midfielder left the pitch with concussion-like symptoms during the first half. He was only in the starting 11 because someone else got injured in the warm-up, and then, 14 minutes in, he collided with Argentina defender Ezequiel Garay, took a blow to the head, and the lights went out. He continued playing, concussed, and then he walked up to the match referee. Shortly after the blow, Kramer came to me asking, "Ref, is this the final?" Referee Nicola Rizzoli told the press afterwards. I thought he was joking and made him repeat the question, and then he said, "I need to know if this is really the final." When I said yes, he concluded, "Thanks, it was important to know that." He asked the referee if it was the final. Mid-game, in the World Cup final. The referee confirmed it was indeed the final. Kramer said, "Thanks, that's important to know," and kept playing for another 17 minutes before collapsing and being carried off. After the match, Kramer said, "I don't know anything at all about the first half. I thought later that I left the game immediately after the tackle. I have no idea how I got to the changing rooms." Germany won 1-0. Kramer collected a World Cup winner's medal for a match he cannot remember, having started only because his teammate was injured in the warm-up. He has become a beloved pundit and media personality in Germany since retirement. His teammates Thomas Müller, Manuel Neuer, and Philipp Lahm even did a famous comedy skit mocking the incident. Kramer laughed along. He can afford to. He's a World Cup winner. Adil Rami, France, 2018. And finally, the one with the most extraordinary footnotes. Because Adil Rami didn't just win a World Cup without playing, he won it with Pamela Anderson in the stands watching him not play. On the 17th of May 2018, Rami was called up to the 23-man French squad for the 2018 World Cup Finals in Russia. He was the only unused outfield player in that tournament. Every other outfield player in France's squad got on the pitch at some point. Every single one, except Rami. 7 games, all the way to lifting the trophy, and the center back from Marseille did not play a minute. But he was in the squad. He was in the dressing room. He was part of the celebrations. And he had become a cult figure before the tournament even started, because Pamela Anderson was in the stands cheering on Adil Rami. Well, not so much cheering him on as clapping for the cameras, as Rami failed to make it off Didier Deschamps' bench. But his role, or more specifically, his mustache's role, played a vital, if not quite bizarre, part in France, adding their second star to the national crest. Antoine Griezmann touched it before the game, and even the manager did to bring luck. Rami told TF1, "It is now the most famous mustache in France." The Pamela Anderson relationship became one of the most talked about storylines of the entire tournament. Every time the cameras panned to the stands, there she was, the Baywatch star in Russia for a man who wasn't even playing. He lifted the trophy. He got the medal. He retired from international football immediately afterward. He had done it, won the World Cup, without playing a single competitive minute. The mustache, the Baywatch girlfriend, the medal, 0 minutes. That is Adil Rami's World Cup story. And honestly, it is one of football's finest. 5 tournaments, 5 players who had no business holding that trophy, and held it anyway. That is the World Cup. The strangest, most beautiful competition in sport. Subscribe if you want more stories like this from inside the game.